need to change. We need to turn that cycle on its head.
Yes.
And we have to talk about our stresses openly, you know. And also as Black women, we are so easily labeled as angry and bitter. And let me tell you some of the most hurtful stuff that I experienced, you know, entering this life of public service at the heights that we entered into was during my husband's presidential campaign. And just me telling the truth of who we were, you know, just humanizing him as a man, saying he's a great man, but he's not perfect. You know, he's got his foibles and his flaws, trying to humanize him. The first thing that some female journalist said was that I was bitter. I was emasculating him just by sort of trying to tell the truth about what life is, right? And then you get labeled as angry, you know, because you talk forcefully or passionately about something, even if it's in the context of great joy and pride. That the first label they put on us as Black women is that we are angry.
Oh, here we go. Man, I don't know how Barack he must be a simp on the level of like Boyce Watkins and them. The more we hear about this woman, there's no way. Like, she said, I'm trying to humanize my husband as he's running for the most important, powerful job in the world. He's trying to be the president. She said, I'm trying to humble him as he's trying to become the president.
Are y'all not hearing this? Alert, alert. This is a PSA to the whole sexual marketplace. This is wild. Yo, man, how do I add to that? Yo, man, running for the highest honor, the ruler. Come on, man. Let's go back to that time when Barack was going for his first presidency, and all of us ninjas thought we was about to be free. Talk about it now. Come on. And he going. They're fighting for the highest office, the leader of the free world. And your wife, the woman that lays next to you, it's on her mind to humanize you, not buying it. You're not supposed to humanize that man. You're supposed to make him seem like he got no flaws. He's Superman. He about to be the president of the United States. Shoot, shut up. Even this is supposed to be a bias in his favor, HQ. Whenever T Money got in that trouble, talking about grabbing ladies by the, you know what they did in response to that? What the women did? They started making shirts saying he can grab me by the, you know what?
Yeah,
you gotta. I said this last show. It's a lot of hurt and malice between our folks. You know what I mean? But you're not supposed to be trying to humble your man. You're supposed to uplift him, build him up. HQ, not humanize. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand why she did what she did and what she said. I get it. Because every time people looked at Kamala Harris, everybody was like, she's so fake. I can't relate to her. So this is why Mrs. Michelle was trying to have people relate to Obama as a regular, ordinary individual. That's why they try to humanize the politicians, because you have people hollering at them saying they're so fake, Kamala's so fake. That's why she was trying to make him more human, more likable. That's why she did that.
So you're saying now Kamala came after him, so I don't really see how that correlates.
They do it to every politician.
But at the very same time, if that is true, like, so you said that she came up trying to humanize Barack because they were saying how fake Kalama was.
No, I'm saying every time you get a politician, people say, I can't relate to that politician.
So you're basically saying Kamala should have done that so she could have been more relatable to people.
Yeah, maybe she would have been more relatable.
I'll say this, and I'll get you in, Raquel, if I let it go. She did it in a bad way where she was trying to, air his dirty laundry. She wasn't telling people like positive things like, oh, he got a wicked jump shot, or he could, you know what I mean? He's a great basketball player or something like that. She was trying to air out his dirty laundry.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If she was really trying to air out the dirty laundry, the publicist and every person that was in that camp would have said, no, you can't do that. Don't be doing that. But they didn't. So it wasn't a matter of airing out the dirty laundry. That wasn't what it was. And her publicist and his publicist and everybody else said that was okay. Otherwise, she wouldn't have did it.
That's not true. Indeed, you
So
can.
people get fired and people get fired in comms all the time for making mistakes like that because they had a little team that thought that doing something like that was a good idea, and then it there's an onion that happens where there are bigger layers that come undone, and then that whole team is fired. So
and the irony is like, yeah, I am probably less light than many of my white female friends. I see that. Less light.
Not liked.
Light.
Yes.
Light, because I say this a lot. I mean, I see the difference in some of my white female friends. I see a lightness, an ability to be in the world and see what's going on, but still be not as burdened about it as I think I am. I think that what I see happen in the news, the assault on immigration rights, the challenges that face our community, the inequality, I think it burns at me in a different way.
Because it affects you.
Yeah.
It affects your children.
Yeah.
It affects you.
Yeah. So imagine, we wake up every day just carrying that.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't directly affect me, sometimes I just have to stop reading the paper.
Yes.
So that I can stop thinking about all that's wrong. Sometimes, I don't know about you, Taraji, I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's why I'm not on social media that much. As you get older, you realize what's important and how to protect your peace. And honestly, social media, we're not supposed to feel all of the emotions that we feel in that short span of scrolling. 1 minute you're laughing, the next minute you're angry, the next minute you want to cry. That's not right.
Yeah.
Something is wrong about that. But, a lot of times that's where you get the news. Or you see something disturbing, and I'm an empath. So I take things on. I stopped watching the news a long time ago.
Yeah.
I had to, because sometimes I feel like, are they trying to scare us? Like, is there?
Yeah. Just an old gatekeeper. Y'all got to start watching the news. And Michelle's sitting up here acting like she's a victim. Like, this is the first lady to the first Black president. All right. You have such a privileged position in life, and she's walking around acting like a victim.
But he was a senator before he was a president. So it's not like she didn't have a practice run. It's not like she was just dipped into the deepest water she's ever swam in. She had a taste of it in Chicago, in that state already. So I don't understand. I don't understand why she's acting like this. And to speak on what you said earlier about her bringing up the things that aren't so good to highlight, when she was talking to Tracy Ellis Ross, she talked about the time he busted his lip playing basketball when he wasn't supposed to be playing basketball. And it's just like, why are you like?
So what was so wrong about that?
No, you can, here's
because it's the way she set it up. It's not, it's always like a heavy darkness behind what she's saying about
exactly.
If it was a lighthearted, he busted his lip, but we had such a great time, and the Secret Service, oh my goodness, they had their suits off, and like there's a way to tell a story. But every time she paints a picture, it's doom and gloom. It's like, come on, man. You work in public service. Like, we all worry about
things. Do know that they have teams that they run these things by, and the teams say, okay, you can say those things, right? So otherwise she wouldn't be saying them, right?
So I think that if she had a team where...
One second, Mr. Rocket. It's still his wife. We can't now... See, here we go. Accountability is kryptonite. Now we're going to blame it on the team. As a wife,
I'm sure the team told her not to do this podcast.
You keep talking about the team. So,
as a wife, she ran it by the team,
above politics, above running for office. As a wife, one of your number one things you need to do, one of your number one rules is protecting your husband's head. That's why these sisters come up here day in and day out, and they can write off what a man's supposed to do. What's a woman supposed? What's one of y'all responsibility? Protect y'all husband's head. Don't be out here talking about that time he doo-dooed on himself. Don't be talking about that time. You know what I'm saying? He got
do this all the time. And
no, you don't. This not how you. This not. It's not okay. You can't justify it.
You can't do that with a Jeff Bezos or a Barack Obama. You cannot humble men like that, where all of the people in the world are their enemy. Do you
I'll
see
say
that?
this.
They do it
Thank you.
all
I'll
the
say
time
this.
in politics.
I'll say this, HQ,
But
real
your
quick.
wife shouldn't do it to you as your intimate
Let me get in here.
partner.
Let me get in here. I'll try to tell us a long discussion. All right. So it's going to be a lot. I know y'all very passionate about this stuff. But listen, I'll say Michelle Obama, she's the new Jada Pinkett. Shout out to the Chadish brother. He says, look like Michelle was trying to ruin her family reputation and public image. Transitioning. This is what they do. And I would say it's on Barack. I tell y'all this all the time. I don't feel the need to feel sorry for some of you grown men. I started this off by saying Barack is a Dr. Boyce level type simp. So Michelle has always been this woman. When she was in college, she's always been this masculine woman. And he's always been her lapdog. So I'm not going to sit up here and defend him. That he is who he is.
I would want to get into that as well. That is true. This, and shout out to the first sister came on screen. There are different dynamics, and this is one: simp and the boss chick.
Anything good happening out there? So I had to stop to protect my peace.
We're not even halfway through the year. And as a Black woman, I feel burned out. It's not just the world and politics, but it's also the expectations of myself and others as it pertains to my personal life, like career, family, issues at my job, obligations I feel pressured into, and more. I don't know you personally, but I imagine he might have been here before. Any advice?
Better learn the word no.
Yeah.
Well, I know this this hits both of you in a different way or in a similar way.
Well, you embarked upon an interesting journey to find your peace recently. Can you share some of your tools for trying to find that peace?
Well, I'll tell you this: no is my favorite word.
Yeah.
No. No is, and I found out how powerful no is, especially in this town. This is a town of yes. Yes, men. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, whatever you need, just to make me a star. You know, make me rich. You know, but no is so powerful because that is you taking up for yourself.
Right.
No, I don't feel like coming to dinner. No, I don't want to do that role. I don't. That doesn't serve a purpose for me.
Yeah.
I know the check is great. Maybe that's someone else's blessing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the relief that I get from saying no, because I know I'm protecting my peace. I know I'm doing a good thing, because for a while I was the yes girl, the people pleaser. You know, and I just couldn't do it anymore because it wasn't servicing me, and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. Because why am I doing this? I've had to cut people out of my life. It's okay. You weigh me down. You know, I can't carry your load and mine. You know, family members even.
Yeah.
Sorry. And you don't learn that. It's unfortunate. You don't learn it until you get older.
That's
you
right.
know, because in your 20s, I'm ready to do it all. Even in your 30s still. But as I'll say about 45, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. That doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me happy inside. And if I say yes, that person's happy, but then I'm left to carry something that doesn't feel comfortable to me.
Yeah.
So here we go. We got Taraji P. Henson. She's 55 years old, single. She got kids. That's one thing I never knew is Taraji has children, at least one. She got like a grown kid, like a 30-year-old son. She had a grown son. I know that. So
That's smart. That's smart of her to, there you go. That's one thing I will say she did smart, keeping family out of the media, because this ain't safe. This ain't a safe place for too many anybody. But they up here talking about, no is powerful. That's true, but too many things get taken out of context today. You know what I mean? Like saying you say no to strangers. Pretty sure Michelle talking about the confines of a relationship. And this is the issue with today's modern dating. There is no difference between how a modern woman such as a Taraji is going to treat a boyfriend, hunch buddy, or a candidate that's going to be a husband. They don't treat them any different. You can get told no, you know what I mean? You ain't important. I don't need you. I just want you around a little bit. These are not wives. We got wives. It's amazing. We got two women up here, I guess, talking about, what they would do or do as wives, and none of them really wives by observation, HQ.
I mean, they chopping it up. See, I haven't seen this. I've only seen one before. I've only seen one of her podcasts, and that's only a couple snippets from that. So I'm not really familiar with the format is on here. I'm assuming it's women empowerment. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm not really familiar with what they're doing here and what the point is. Why is the first lady interviewing movie stars? Why not interview regular, ordinary people? Maybe that,
Transitioning.
because I don't get the point of her doing that. We know everything we need to know about Taraji P, Tracy Ellis, Ross. We know all we need to know about these stars. Why not?
Well,
people?
I think you answering your own questions. I think it's feminism 101. You know, it's just a hyena circle jerk. We talk about this stuff.
How have you shared this with your young son? And I say young because 30 is still young.
Yeah, very young.
Do you encourage him to therapy? Because I'll
Absolutely.
tell you,
He's
you
in
know
therapy.
how black men are with their, we ain't really feeling the therapy thing. Like,
no, he's not like that at all.
Oh, that's great, because
No.
we need to educate our young black men that therapy is a good thing.
We go to therapy together. You think a mother-son relationship is easy?
Yes.
Without a dad?
That's right.
Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah.
All relationships need work. You know, even the relationships with my girlfriends, you know, we get in our little stuff sometimes, but, you know, we're in a place where we're all in therapy.
You know, when I hear you talk about the practice, what I'll call the practice of no, because you're absolutely right. And I know that everyone struggles with disappointing people, with trying to set boundaries. But I particularly relate to, you know, what you were saying about it takes you a while before you know, maybe as a woman, as a black woman, where we feel comfortable saying no. And I was sitting here thinking, well, why is that? And why was that for me? Because this is something that I am working on right now. You know, I like you, I have believed in therapy my whole life. You know, done couples therapy with my husband. Both my girls they believe in therapy. This generation, thankfully, I think our children
more open.
are way more open to it. They understand the importance of self-help and all of that. I also sort of realized that, you know, even Michelle Obama, I am still trying to tell myself that I am doing enough, right? Because there's always that feeling. I think we practice that striving because in order to be successful, I always felt like I had to be smarter, faster, work harder because somebody was going to doubt me. Somebody was already telling me why I couldn't do something before they knew me or I even tried. So you get, and I don't think this is unique to just women of color. I don't think it's just unique to men. But when you get in that habit of that constant striving and constant proving that, you know, it's enough, it makes us overachievers, but you don't ever turn that off. And at 60, I had to convince myself that I had done enough. After all that I had done in the world, I still felt a guilt, right? Struggling with like deep guilt that maybe I needed to do a little bit more. So I'm at this stage in life where I have to define my life on my terms for the first time. So what are those terms? And going to therapy just to work all that out. Like, what happened that 8 years that we were in the White House? What did that do to me internally, my soul? We made it through. We got out alive. I hope we made the country proud. My girls, thank God, are whole. But what happened to me? Right. And going through therapy.
I remember when I lost my mind. What happened to her as she was being first lady, eating the finest dinners every night, eating the best breakfast, flying on Air Force One, living a life of luxury? Y'all don't know how bad that was to be pampered to and to be a first lady.
You know, shout out to my father-in-law. We were talking a while back. I love the saying, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And everything that comes along with it, you shut up. You and your husband took the world, all but literally. You think that come with no stress, responsibility, accountability? You think being a leader, the wife of the man that's the leader to the free world, you think that come with no stress, no responsibility, no trials, no struggles? And that's the thing, it's gonna happen. But my gripe is, why do we have to play this victim card? As a melanated man, I understand, respect wholeheartedly our unique path through life as melanated folk. At the very same time, that victim card is tired. It's so exhausted. Just put it down.
That part. Yeah, Michelle, she is 61 years old. You know, what you got, Raquel?
I think it's so sad. I think that she keeps weighing her success using Barack's ruler. And it's his bar is his bar. It doesn't have to be your bar. Like, you're never, if you're constantly comparing yourself because you're in competition with your husband, there's something wrong with that. you need to go to therapy, because that's what it sounds like to me. There is no topping the presidency. And so she is freaked out about the fact that he's one-upped her in a way that she would never get, could be one-upped, I mean, because she's so close in proximity to the highest bar she'll ever know in life. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that is what her problem is. And HQ, to what you said earlier about her team, there is no way in hell her team that comes with the team that's connected to the Secret Service and Barack Obama has advised this stuff right here, because this is just a trauma dump. Like, she could write a book. She could just write another book of this, but she's doing a petty ass podcast. Like, I just, she's out of pocket, y'all. She out of pocket. Look at her nails. Look at all of this stuff is like so costumey. I'm trying to be a superstar. When you're above that, you're the first lady of the first world country. Like, what the hell? Like, Trump's wife would never do this peasantry. She would never do this. Like, this is so, Beyonce wouldn't even do this. Like, the reason why we love Beyonce is because there's an allure to her. We don't know what she thinks about politics. We don't know that she cries over the fact that she'll never be Jay-Z. Like, we don't know nothing. We just all speculate everything. So she's stupid.
That part.
Is getting me to look at the fact that maybe finally I'm good enough, right? And unlearning some of those messages that I've been saying to myself, and then trying to actively practice something different to rewire those neurons in my head that make me keep pushing and keep striving. And so practicing no in a very different way intentionally. But then this is what makes it hard, because my decision to skip the inauguration, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like, people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart.
Right.
It's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me. And it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right, or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me. That was a hard thing for me to do.
So this is feminism. HQ asked earlier, what is this for? This is feminism 101. She wants to be equal to her husband. She is in seek of equality. She like, the reason I didn't go to the inauguration, because I made that decision for myself. I'm not up under no man. We got equal say so. And if I don't want to go, I'm making my own choices. I'm no longer a submissive wife. I am your equal. We are partners.
Egregious. I say the top thing, ladies, all the married women out there, take heed to this old married man's message. The number one thing y'all should be worried about and concerned with when y'all up here talking, dealing with anybody, is making your husband look good. Forget all this. I did it for me. It ain't just you. Too selfish. She just said it. You got to listen to him. She just sat up here and said that she had to reprogram herself from telling herself negative things. She had to convince herself that she was enough because of what she was telling herself. You want to know who helps work through these thoughts, negative thoughts, because they happen? Your man. Your husband, yeah, he helps you get past those negative thoughts that creep into the back of y'all's head. But whenever y'all about me, my self-care, my happiness, this is why Michelle now is on the island by herself. I believe this is a heck of an observation for us. Now she on the island by herself, and her man wasn't no bum. He was the leader of the free world. This is hardcore data, my baby.
That part. So what's your take, HQ? What's your take on her? She says she got the ability to say no, and she's making her own choices. Is there a problem with that?
Well, if she's going to stay with Barack, I think, she has to converse with him before she does any of those things. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's still in the she's still under certain things. You still have Secret Service, you still have security protocols. There's still things that you have to go by, even being the wife. So I mean, I'm just assuming this stuff. I would never do it. It's just I would never do it. That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying this has been okayed. However we want to look at it, it has been okayed, because you just don't go out and say any old thing. You have to have ran some of this by people before you do it. They don't just do anything they want to do. You still,
well, do we think that she has said anything that I don't think she has said anything that was like top secret or that was going, be like a cause for national security or anything. Right. So I don't think she need anybody permission to talk about the stuff that she's talking about now.
Right. And that's between her and Barack. How he I'm pretty sure he knows these things. He would have said, "Don't talk about them," and he ran them past him, and he said, "Okay, fine." So if he's okay, then everybody else got to be okay. That's that man's wife. You picked her. He picked her. He picked Michelle. So you know what your wife gonna do. So you came out. She said she gonna say what she gonna say, and you the one approved it because that's your wife. So all of us, we don't have to like it. I can care less.
Shots fired, Mr. Walker.
I would say Michelle, just like most of the women we bring up here, this is more of a cautionary tale for younger men, especially at college age, to know what type of women to avoid. I would say more or less she just confirming like, okay, we done told y'all about this prototype. Now look.
Resistance is futile. It is, shout out to Mr. X. It does not behoove any of us to try to come up here and try to change certain folks' mind, especially cantankerous heathen queens and the such.
No,
all right.
You're not to do that.
Michelle gonna be Big Mike until the day she perish. That's it, fellas. Listen and know that you can, that's my point. You could be the biggest, baddest man in the world, but if you get a sister like this archetype, this is what you're gonna get.
Wait a minute. Now, I know you're not standing there saying that Michelle Obama is not a decent wife. Now, I know that's not what you're saying, that she's not a decent wife. She's been a very decent wife to Barack Obama. It's not a wife that you would pick, but that's a wife that he picked.
Can't hear you. Muted, Mr. Walker. But
she's a good wife to him.
Not in this moment. We talk about this moment. We don't know what they did in the past. In this moment,
every wife is not a wife. Every minute of every day.
She was the only wife that didn't come to the inauguration. She was the only wife that has a podcast. So she's doing things that are clearly not of a traditional first lady.
She's a business partner. She's
clearly approved by the husband.
She's a business partner. She's a business partner. You hunch.
Approved by the husband. Clearly approved by the husband. If my husband agrees that I can wear a swimsuit and I wear a swimsuit, that's approved by the husband. She is out here talking, it's clearly approved by the husband.
False.
Therefore, that's his choice.
False.
What do you mean false? What do you mean false?
That's not necessarily true. That's what I went on to say earlier. She's not up here discussing anything that's top secret. She don't need to get his approval to do this.
She got to get approval to say what she says. She don't just say anything.
She hasn't crossed any lines yet.
Okay, so therefore she hasn't crossed any lines. So why is everybody?
As far as needing approval, she ain't talking about something that went on in a war or taxes or something.
I'm saying she would have had some kind of pushback from Barack.
Here we go. I'll let it go.
Mm-hmm. I had to basically trick myself out of it. And it started with not having anything to wear. I mean, I had affirmatively, because I'm always prepared for any funeral, anything. I walk around with the right dress. I travel with clothes just in case something pops off. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if I'm not going to do this thing, I got to tell my team, I don't even want to have a dress ready. Yeah. Right. Because it's so easy to just say, let me do the right thing.
But then you become a shock absorber.
Yeah.
And that's what women are. Yeah. Shock absorbers. Yeah. And that's exhausting. And it's not healthy.
Yeah.
It is not healthy. Mm-hmm. You've had to be shock absorbers for your husband, for your children, for your mom, for your family, your loved ones, because of where you were sitting in the public eye. Mm-hmm. That's not fair to you. When do you ever get to live for you? Mm-hmm. I applaud you. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that you are taking care of yourself in the way that you need to.
Yeah.
I've been talking to Misha about this, and I opting out might be that's a great prognosis or a great suggestion or strategy for.
I see y'all been asking, who is this ninja? So this is Michelle's brother. I know he was a basketball coach. I don't think he ever played in the NBA, but he was a Division I basketball coach, so he coached D1 hoops back, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I don't know much more about him than that.
I know one of their parents got some strong genes. I don't know who they look like, they mama, they daddy, but they don't look like both of them. They all got the same face. Tell you that.
For folks who are feeling the way we're talking about here,
because you can't keep pushing through. That's detrimental. That could end very bad. Because you're not paying attention. I mean, I had a girlfriend one time. She was taking on so much. She didn't even realize she spilled hot grease on her chest.
Wow.
She just disfigured her entire chest doing too much. I mean, physically, it's impossible. You have to stop and go, whoa, what's happening with me? I have to check out. I'm sorry, everyone. I have to check out for my own safety and sanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to do, but you must. I don't know if that's sending the kids away for summer. I used to get on my mom because that last day of school, my bag was in the trunk and she was driving me down south. Right. And I
now you understand.
I totally get it. I understand that woman needed a break. And I was a lot as a kid. I was very rambunctious, probably undiagnosed ADHD, but here we are.
Found a way to turn it into activity.
Exactly. Yeah, but like you're saying, you're just learning. I'm just learning. It's something that you have to do. And hopefully, Shantae, you will get this message from hearing from me and from Queen Michelle that you have to take time for yourself in spite of making people happy. At some point, you have to make yourself happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple.
And one of the ways I started thinking about this, because this is the habit. It's like maybe I'm still working on being able to do things just solely for myself and being okay with that. I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Through therapy and conversations like this and
Oh man, this is just a rough conversation. I understand us as humans, we never truly stop learning. Every day you should wake up and learn something. But this stuff that they are talking about is elementary. So if y'all haven't figured these things out about yourselves at 60 years old, just go buy a dog. Leave men alone.
I can't speak for Taraji, all right, because she is a single woman. She out here. She expressed that she had to go to therapy with her son because it's difficult raising a son without a father around. All right, but Michelle needed to just flat out come out saying, and all of these boss chicks, I've spoken on this. Married women like Michelle can have 2 lives. You get married, have your kids, and then the way the system is set up, you leave your husband and you can go and be whatever you want to be now. Michelle gonna do whatever she want to do. And she ain't got to ask or inquire with Barack about nothing, HQ. She gonna do what she want. Today's boss chicks wants 2 lives. And I ain't mad at her. I have no gripes against Michelle. She was a wife, a mother. Now she a boss chick, CEO.
And most people are speculating that they are not even together. So I would say, probably true. While we sit here saying she need permission to do this, Michelle may be married but separated.
Like I imagine the Clintons is like that. All right, the Bushes. They all see that. Shout out to Leon King in the chat. Wait, no. Big Mike and Barack are not the only folks going through this. Freaking Clinton, Hillary had to find out her man was getting gawk in the Oval Office. Pretty sure they together.
She was still at that inauguration, and she's been at everything she was supposed to be at during, before, and after. She knew about Monica. She knew about all of them. What? Come on now. She was playing the long game because that's what real wives do. We play the long game.
Marcel, that's because she weak. She ain't no strong black queen. If she was a strong, HQ, am I lying? HQ, if she was a strong black queen, HQ, she wouldn't stand for nothing. She would have,
A wife has duty.
I can't speak for rich people. Rich people do stuff I wouldn't do. So I can't speak for rich wives. I can't speak for rich husbands. I can only speak for us poor folks. She did what she needed to do, however she needed to do it. I would have kept up my appearances and all the other things that I have to do, but that's just me. She has other things that she want to do. Let her do whatever she gonna do because she gonna do it regardless, right? So, and I'm assuming that Barack is okay with it because otherwise she wouldn't be doing it. So,
listen, I would say Barack is okay with it because he's laying up with another woman right now. He don't care.
Could be true. That could be true.
In Italy, and he's somewhere crazy. Barack's somewhere in Italy, overlooking the Dead Sea or something. Boy,
yeah, listening to house music on the yacht, just like hair breeze in the hair. Yes,
Barack said, no cameras, no phones. Barack out there smoking some herb. I see you, Barack. Get it?
Yes, drinking some Douce, smoking some herb. Shout out to Barack. Here we go.
Talking to my friends, but I'm still thinking about the example I'm setting for my daughters, right? So I am trying now that they are 23 and 26 to talk to them about my menopause brain. I'm like, how old are they? Is what he's referring to. I want them to start practicing now the art of saying no.
Yes.
Because I see it in them, pleasing, excelling, not wanting to take anything for granted, always showing gratitude, right? Feeling like they're enough right now, right? It's a practice.
It is.
Right? It's a muscle that you have to build because if you don't constantly build it, you don't develop it. And I think we suffered because it's almost like we started training late in life to build that muscle, right? I am just now starting to build it, right?
Yep.
I want our daughters, I want the young women out there. And I know we're talking about women of color, but we're talking about women and we're talking about all people who take on too much. I mean, we can identify and relate to our why as Black women, but I don't presume that other people aren't dealing with these same struggles.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So I want my girls to start practicing different strategies for saying no, right? I don't want them to, because if I'm showing up at this stage in my life and they are seeing me still wonder whether I deserve to say no, what does that teach them? If after all that I've done in this world, if I'm still showing them that I still have to show people that I love my country, that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm always going high all the time, even in the face of a lot of hypocrisy and contradiction, right? All I'm doing is keeping that crazy bar that our mothers and grandmothers set for us. So I'm trying to teach them just like, Shantae, you got to start practicing your nose so you build that muscle.
The sooner the better.
The sooner the better. And
you a lie and the truth ain't in you.
Listen, she's such a liar. I don't know, man. I guess, listen, she can raise her kids however she want, but it's not this traditional thing that she's talking about. Her kids are free spirits. They are out here scissoring timbers and all type of stuff, but Godspeed.
See, this is another case of rebellion, Mr. X. She just said she is teaching. This is sick. I'm trying not to yell. She said she is teaching her daughters that the crazy bar that their grandmothers set before them, they don't have to honor that bar of duty, responsibility, and accountability, Mr. X. No, y'all have to take on this stress for greatness. To me, my opinion, this is a form of abuse. How in the world, as a mother, you done married the most successful man in the world? If your husband is president of the United States, you married the most successful man on earth. I don't care. And you're going to tell your daughters, don't put in the work to acquire said man. God dang it. Like, what is the full thought process behind these teachings? Don't do what Big Mom said because that's too difficult. But look at the outcome. Look at what Big Mom built saying, yes, look at your ass up here on this podcast.
Here's the thing. What I've realized in practicing no a little bit, people can handle no.
They really can. They have no choice.
That's right.
They have no choice, really.
And we're not all that important. You know, the world doesn't
stop spinning
because I said no to your event. They usually just move on to the next thing. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, life goes on, and if we stop carrying the load, maybe we set it down, somebody will pick it up.
Absolutely.
Somebody will pick it up.
My family just celebrated my grandmother's 101 birthday.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow. Thank you. And this woman who raised 8 of her own children, one niece, raised 9 children, was married for 61 years before my grandfather passed away. I see her living her life finally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
what
why
does that
she's
look
still
like
around.
when you
Oh
say,
my
what does
goodness.
that look like at 101?
So Well, she's been with me to the Oscars. She's been with me to the Emmys twice.
Wow.
She's come out here. She's seen every house that I've owned out here in LA. She's traveled. She's been on cruises, and she prepares for the next day. Not only does she look forward to the next day, she prepares for it.
I love that.
And she was like, "What y'all gonna do for my birthday?" She loves to celebrate it. She loves to bring people together and to have a good time. I see her living for herself finally. You know, she gets it's literally about what she wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that's why she's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a second birth.
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
So here we go. She says her grandma, 100 years old, raised 9 kids, including, I'm guessing, your mama or daddy. That's the reason you are here. It's called a legacy. She built a legacy. And Taraji said she's finally get to live her life and be happy. It's not about that. Taraji, if your grandma lived a life like you wouldn't be here, because she wouldn't be a mother with these 9 kids, building a legacy. She would have been a selfish woman with no legacy, like you, no husband, no man that she was married to for 60 years. How you gonna determine it? She gonna say she finally living her life after this man passed away.
Devaluing and disregarding the work of our elders, especially the male elders. We talk about this. These sisters, they don't mind recalling the greatness of their grandmothers, as they should. The grandmothers back in the day, the traditionals were awesome, but they don't even honor their sacrifice by following their rules and where they set the bar. But again, your mom get to live this life. She get to come with y'all and with you and see you buy your houses. What role did your father play in that? Do we not understand the way she just told this story? Her grandmother was living a less than life until the father passed away. And now, since Taraji is a movie star, now she can finally live her life, going on the trips to LA and looking at new houses and stuff. But the father's sacrifice, she didn't say nothing. Nothing about what he did. Just mama did it. Look at what mama did. Mama living now that daddy dead. We need to start honoring our deceased. It is a curse, and not honoring those that came here before us and set this up for us. It's hubris and madness. I swear to goodness.
If it wasn't for her grandfather choosing her grandmother and all of the great grandfathers that chose all of the great grandmothers, she wouldn't be sitting here today. It's just period. Her grandmother of 101 years wouldn't be able to experience those cruises because she wouldn't be here. So I just like, they don't understand how dumb they sound or how bitter they're coming off, but it comes off very bitter, very, why didn't anybody pick me? When I'm sure there were plenty of men trying to pick you, but you just had your head up your butt.
Yeah.
It's like a second birth.
Yeah. And we don't want to have to wait till we're 100.
No, we don't.
To do that. Or
No, we
61 to do it.
Yeah, or 55.
Right. But
Shantae, I don't know how old you are,
Right.
but you better start
Well,
saying no.
I love that. So now let's think back to, what you know now, you go back to your younger selves. Besides just saying you got to say no earlier, what are you telling your younger self so that you can start this work earlier?
I wish I had known about therapy younger.
Okay.
I didn't find that until late 40s, 50s.
Okay.
I didn't. I wish I had known about therapy earlier. I mean, I knew, but not only I didn't know, but I couldn't afford it.
Yeah, really.
Couldn't afford
That
it.
part.
Yeah. And what kind of strategies are you learning that we can help Shantae with, or that have helped you
One of the
outside of
things
saying no?
I heard of
And think about this real quick, because this is their message is so damning. Their message to younger women is to not start families. Do not sacrifice. Say no to marriage. Say no to what a man wants or what society wants, i.e. her daughters, scissor and timbers. They can do what makes you happy. So if people keep following their theory, the society would collapse.
Let's find out. It's over. I'm over it. Resistance is futile. And I think that's where we are. Go ahead, sisters. Follow through with this and report back to us. We'll be back. We'll be here years after, like Mr. X said, and we'll be waiting on y'all sit rep. situation report. Go and let us know how searching for your individual happiness and your individual joy builds anything. Selfishness is of the devil. I swear to goodness. I'm so triggered this evening, man.
About that I thought was about you, Taraji, is that you play
A lot.
Tell us about, you got a playroom?
I have a play. I always, okay. So when I grew up, my mom couldn't afford a lot of this stuff. Remember the catalogs? You get the big series. We would go in, rip pages, circle.
Exactly.
And so I always...
Bathroom reading for us.
Yes. I couldn't,
reading.
I loved when we got those big catalogs. And I would go in there and I would circle. And I would always promise myself, I don't care how old you get, but you're going to be successful. And when you do, make sure you have your little girl's room. That's what I used to call it.
Okay.
And in that room was going to be all the things that my heart desired. You know, back then it was dolls and the things that in the toy book. But as I got older, it became the salon. And in the salon is where I play. I have doll head. I have prosthetic hands where I practice doing nails. And during the pandemic, they called me the quarantine queen because I was teaching myself how to do nails. I was teaching myself how to cut and color hair. And that's where I would go. And anytime I'm in distress, you will find me in my salon.
Wow. And what you're doing is doing what you love doing for yourself.
For myself. People think it's a little creepy because all the doll heads are looking.
Here we go. Taraji, at 55 years old, she says she got a playroom like a kid, where at this age, you should be married. You should be pouring this. You and your husband should have this companionship, traveling. She said, whenever I get bored and lonely and frustrated, I go into this room and start doing mannequin hairs and painting fake nails, and and breaking out my robes. Listen, she called it the toy room. Don't play with it. Yeah! Y'all know what's going on in there. Taraji in there beating that thing down, and it go down in the toy room.
Listen, and these celebrities HQ, so these ain't your average toys. I'm pretty sure they got, some more advanced things made straight from Tesla, things of that nature. That's wicked. Did you hear this grown woman? She's 55.
Did you say made from Tesla? I cannot.
Listen, she said during Hoodies 19, the lockdown, this grown woman with at least a son, decided to create a room with fake hands and mannequin heads. Sound a little weird, but nevertheless, that's depressing. See, this is another story. During Hoodies, listen at the single woman's cry. She out here painting fake nails. That one's painting fake nails and drinking cheap wine. That is not how you want to spend your nights.
I mean, they can't help it. If you single and nobody wanted to marry you and you didn't want to marry nobody, it is what it is. I said earlier, this is just the fate of some women and some men. Some people are not going to want to marry you and you ain't going to want to marry them. So we're going to have people like this all over the planet. And just because you have a lot of money and you have the options, they think because they have a lot of money, they have a lot of options. You only have the same options as I do. If we're the same age, you have the same options as me. Just because you got money don't mean you got more options. See, that's the thing. When women think they got money, and poor women, if we're the same age, we still had the same options. We still had the same turn downs. We still had the same everything. Women with money just seem to think they have more options and they don't. It just is what it is. And you can tell by all the celebrities that are single and don't have kids because they thought they had more options than they did. And your money don't mean anything when it comes to relationships.
But it's my happy place.
It makes sense. Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't ask both of you. We don't know what Shantae's situation is, but how can we as men help you all with this process?
Remember I said at the convention, do something.
See, this is what I got to do.
Well, I mean, you have a point.
do something. Okay, any suggestions, my dear? Just a couple.
Do something.
But you know what I mean?
I know
because we as guys are trying to help, but we don't know how to help. We can barely get ourselves to therapy, right? And we're trying to thug our way through this by, I'm here for you, but I don't know what to do.
Sometimes
so
just saying that.
Breakfast.
Right? Literally, sometimes just saying that because I feel seen. Okay. You're not just ignoring me. You're not just going on about your way, thugging your way through things. You're going, you know what? I see you're in distress. I just don't know how to help. Then that allows me to go, this is how you can help.
Okay.
Open dialogue.
Yeah. And you know what I also want? If you're not going to therapy, then I want you to find the place where you're going to keep growing too.
That, yes.
And you can't grow in your own mind alone, right? So if there are issues, and you see me struggling, you can't always fix my struggle, but I would want the men in their lives to take a look at themselves too.
Yeah.
Because if we're doing all this work as women, figuring it out, going to therapy, finding our peace, trying to heal our trauma, then you got to be doing the same thing too. Because it's not just me. It's both of us.
Yeah.
It's all of us. So I would say to the men, do the work too. And find the way to do the work in the way that you can do it. And if you can't go to therapy because you're thugging it out, then talk to somebody.
Somebody.
Talk
Pastor,
to each
somebody.
other.
Each other.
Talk to each other. That would be something if that helps. And then, throw a load of laundry in it, make breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm not, okay, if it's not you, then it doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply, but for the brothers out there, if
He
you
did
can
say
do,
the Airbnb, he washed the dirty uniforms. I heard him say that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's nice of you to remember that. No, this has been extraordinarily helpful for me as a man to hear you all be so vulnerable and so authentic with this. So,
also,
there we go. They ain't done but him. His role is just to sit there and be a lapdog, more or less. He ain't gonna give no pushback. You see Michelle, she jumped at him. I'm sure she used to beat him up when they was kids. Probably still do. I can see her backstage putting him in the headlock.
Yeah, it looked like her feet kind of bigger than his. That's so unfortunate. God dang it. Where my boy Bill? I hope Bill watching this. He'll get a kick out of this. But that's it. He just up there being a lap dog. And it's a bad look all around. Yeah. And Big Mike over here talking about doing more. And somebody said in the chat, your man was president of the United States. Again, I feel and I believe that this is a pivotal point in the dating market. Why? Because your man could be president of the United States and he still have to do more. Where's the grace? I understand life ain't fair. I understand, but god dang, president of the United States, he can't be doing enough.
You can be vulnerable as well.
Yes, yeah.
Be vulnerable. Don't thug your way through everything.
Yeah, right.
And I think we have to talk. We have to rip the veil off of these conversations.
Yes.
And talk about what we struggle with. Talk about the help that we're getting.
And the help you need.
The help you need. And we have to learn how to articulate our pain.
Yes.
And not be afraid to say we're hurting, that this is hard, that I'm scared, that I'm tired. And then, we want the men in our lives to, give us a safe place to land when we do that. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's nothing to fix, but maybe it's just, don't make us feel like we're crazy.
Right.
Right.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
So this has been some heavy stuff. I would like to know, how do you spend your leisure time? Like, what does Taraji P. Henson do when she
are you in your toy room?
I'm in the toy room.
But when you're not in the toy room,
no,
do you watch anything? Are you reading anything? What are you doing?
I just got a new puppy. Well, I already have a dog, Buddha. And Buddha just seemed lonely because I can't chase Buddha around. He's a little French bulldog.
Okay.
And so I got him a friend. Zen, Buddha and Zen. And so right now, that's what occupies my time.
Oh.
You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
Rest in peace to the Godfather. Taraji said, I already got one dog and I went and got another dog. So I spend most of my days in my toy room, all right, playing with my toys and playing with my dogs. A lonely existence that the Godfather prophesies.
What's the chances? We could do a speculate. This is funny. What's the chances it's a random jar of peanut butter in this toy room for the, what's the chance? Shout out to the toy room. I dare. And see, this is why HQ, I say accountability is always worse on the women's side because men don't have this luxury of being this delusional. Can't no man come up here talking about, during Cooties 19, I had a toy room. A dude can't even say I used to like Hot Wheels cars as a kid. Can't no man come say, you know what? During Cooties 19, I went out and I went to Wally World and bought I don't know how much they cost. It was 99 cents. Every 99 cent Hot Wheels car out there on the rack. That's what I did. Made me a little wall to satiate the little kid in me. You will get stomped. And that ain't even creepy. But she got a toy room, HQ.
Yeah, but I look at it like this. The rich people can be weird. They can be they're gonna be weird, and they're gonna have all these side things. Look, if you had enough money to buy your heart's desire and everything that you want, you might be doing some goofy stuff too. So that is goofy. It's kind of creepy. Hey, it's kind of creepy, but I understand the impulse because she got all that money. What else can you buy except goofy crap? You can't do
But
that.
HQ, you have $1 million house or a penthouse. It's all yours. It's yours. Like
I'd be having different
you don't need a
shells for my
ring.
bar. I'd be having different shells for my toys and my bars.
Oh.
And my cars. I just be, that's what she got. She got a different shelf for the big ones, little shelf for the little ones. She got some that stick in the wall. She got all kinds. Look.
Oh,
HQ, you know too much, HQ. We're just gonna move on. There we go. Don't incriminate yourself, HQ. Here we go.
I mean, she got all kinds of stuff down that basement. I just imagine what kind of parties they be having.
Okay.
And so I got him a friend. Zen, Buddha and Zen. And so right now, that's what occupies my time.
And puppy, how old is Zen?
He's 4 months.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Buddha
real.
is 2. And so right now, they bring me so much joy. So that and family time.
Mm-hmm.
I love going to visit with family. Like I said, I just came back. I have lots of cousins, and that always lifts my spirits, and it gives me the motivation I need to keep going. My family, because I just love my family. I come from a family where, as cousins, we all used to sleep on a pallet. Remember that? The blankets before the blow up mattresses. We had big blankets on the floor, and so we're really close. So I'm saying that right now because that's what's brought me this joy that I'm carrying right now because I just came back from seeing them. So
yeah. And a little birdie tells me that you are a Real Housewives fan. Is that correct? Did I get that?
I do. I watch unscripted is good because
I love unscripted too.
Because it makes you forget about your problems.
Exactly.
You're like,
that's part of the turn it off.
Exactly.
It's just like they did not.
What? That's right. No, she didn't. But it's my little secret pleasure.
We have our production company, Higher Ground, and a lot of people think that it's all presidential, and we're going to do documentaries. And we just came out with unscripted Later Daters, where we.
Oh, that's
it's like,
interesting. I like
that.
that.
Yeah. So it's a show that couples finds love matches for aspirational people over 50, people who look like us.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
So she coming out with a show called Later Daters for women in their 50s.
Here. We already got it. It's already out. It's been out. It's
okay. Well, she's producing it. She's the producer of it. And she also says, because Taraji talked about how she spends her free time, Michelle sat back and say, well, Taraji, not so fast. I'm coming out with a show for you. Come join.
Later Daters. The Godfather, if he laughing on the other side. What does dating look like at 50? It looked like Big Mike hosting the dating event, Kevin Samuels, in case you was wondering. Yes, I guarantee you didn't see this coming. Man, I tell you what, if Kev was alive now, oh my goodness, it'd be a media storm. This is crazy.
It's a decent show. It just ain't that interesting.
This is my point. Exactly. This is my point, HQ. What she's a married woman. What is her inspiration coming up, putting all this money, effort, and resources into a show for Later Daters? And then she directly, indirectly included herself. She said for women that look like us.
Right.
If I'm her man and I'm up here listening to this, I'm like, God dang, it sounds like you available, girl. You available?
Well, listen, yes, Barack, they single. She's single as French toast. And then she also sat up here and said, they talk about the Real Housewives. She says they're into watching Hollywood, hip hop Hollywood, Real Housewives. She says they watch them kind of TV shows that help them escape from real life. She says, I'll watch them shows and say, well, hell, they going through the same problems I'm going through. I like watching them shows. It helps me escape because we all going through the same stuff.
Incorrect. You know what? I remember when they used to have that Big Brother on there, and my sister and my wife used to watch that, and it used to get on my nerves. I despised TV, and I remember when that show went off, And one of the companies that produce it is called Mindless Television. I said, pause. I said, stop. I said, look at what they saying to you in your face. They saying y'all mindless, and you keep watching it. Those reality shows, that's sinking to your subconscious. I'm not making this ish up. It's observable. You can see it. Look at the subject on the screen. She married to the president. She liked watching it. Now she single at 50, 60 some years old. Show me I'm lying. That madness sinks into your brain. That's why Big Mike up here want to be single now, even though her man was the president.
You know, who are looking for love. And, you know,
that.
it's got this great dating coach, this young woman, Logan Ury, and you just sort of go along that journey. We are working. I'm not trying to pump the show, but I'm just saying that people didn't expect us to be doing unscripted.
Right.
But it's like, well, that's my taste, right?
Right.
I mean, I love those kind of shows where it's just regular people. I think that maybe that's the sociologist in me, that I love watching regular
human connection,
real interaction. Although my brother says that unscripted isn't real, you know, that Real Housewives ain't real. They're acting, and we don't even care.
We don't care. It's good TV.
The most intellectual women that I know, my sister, my wife, my daughter, now you, all watch this stuff, and I am shocked. Still, I'm always shocked.
But I always say, you know, the NBA is like the real, that's reality.
But that's reality TV now.
It's still drama. There's
a lot of drama.
There's a lot of drama. Yeah,
it's
this is real too. These are real situations.
I think people manufacture beef.
Well, you don't know.
They manufacture beef.
No, it's produced so you can have an actual beginning, middle, and end. It has to have some kind of structure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just chaos. So
there we go. So they moving the goal line. Y'all can allow this if you want in your house. So if they saying a man watching sports, NFL, NBA is the equivalent to a woman watching, you know, the Real Housewives or Baddies or Hip Hop Hollywood or Flavor Flav or anything.
Disagree. I all but despise athletics at this point in my life, but I disagree. No, it's not the same thing. Yeah, athletics is entertaining, and it's not going to indirectly make you think it's okay to indulge in ratchet activity. These sisters watch Real Housewives of Atlanta and then they hear the arguments on the show, and then they go practice it with their boyfriends and situationships. Ain't no dude sitting here, not that I know, sit there watching NFL Sunday, like, let's go in the back and go Oklahoma. I only seen that as a kid, not as adults. So stop it. It's not the same.
But at the end of the day, those are real issues.
It feels like chaos. It feels like chaos.
Well, there is chaos because there's chaos in friendships. There's chaos in life. Right. There's friction. So what's your favorite franchise?
My favorite one, kind of.
You watch a little bit of all of them?
I watch a little bit of all.
So do I, girl.
Love and hip hop. I watch.
Oh, I do too. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Mama D. Oh, child.
Yeah, I love it because I know a Mama D. Everybody knows a Mama D.
They sure
right?
do.
If you don't have one in your family, you got a Mama
you
D.
Lying. You are lying. You're just not recognizing Mama D.
I have a Mama D in my family.
Oh my God.
I tell you in the name of Jesus. Lord. Have your way, Lord. Have your way, Lord. Have your way, Lord.
This is one of the biggest problems in the culture. Michelle, she's supposed to be the pinnacle of Black women. She's up here talking about Mama D. My God, respect. Like I said, shout out to Mama D, respectfully, but this ain't the move. This ain't it.
It's supposed to be, in some degree, teaching the children, the youth, Mama D. You know, I don't understand.
Right.
Like this is the problem with the Gynocracy HQ. They do not think it's important to point out the bad aspects of these characters. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I grew up listening and all but idolizing the artist DMX. Love this music, could feel it. I'd be danged if I say and tell my son that, yeah, DMX is awesome. No, that brother was tormented. No, I enjoyed the music, found it entertaining, but I'm not going to recommend it to the youth. Do you see? Don't recommend love and hip hop to your babies. How's that going to help them?
I'm saying I see it as a bunch of babble. I mean, I don't like all this kind of introspection, and it really doesn't go anywhere. It's just talking about what they don't like and what happened to them. It's difficult to follow along because, you know, it's more about them. And I really don't care for celebrities and that kind of thing.
Well, hold on. She's not a celebrity. Hey, shoot, does this not discredit her in your eyes? Like, in the words of my man Jay Prince, does this not diminish her reputation?
Who, Michelle Obama?
Yes. To know these type to know that she up here talking about Mama D.
I mean, it humanizes her more to me than it does.
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing for you. It's a good thing for me.
2025. Look at the humans in 2025. You really don't want to be like them, and for the most part.
I'm saying,
huh? But now, what do you think about that? Is that true? Is you what Mr. X just said?
What?
That even here. You might want to say it again, Mr. X. She didn't listen to you.
I heard him. It just I mean, I just don't see the harm in speaking of it. I don't know. It's hard to take this seriously. That's all. These ladies.
Okay. Well, yeah, issue.
I mean, I'm just the celebrity thing. I just don't do the celebrity thing. That's all. I mean, it's like Babel to me. I can't. It's like Babel to me. Is what they talk.
To me, it's a stain. It's like having a nice white shirt and a big spaghetti stain on it. That's what Michelle was doing.
Just ruined it.
Mama D? Oh, child.
Yeah,
oh, child.
Because I know a Mama D. Everybody knows a Mama D.
They sure
right?
do.
If you don't have one in your family, you got a Mama
you
D.
lying. You are lying. You're just not recognizing Mama D.
I have a Mama D in my family. I ain't gonna say who, but...
But I'm like that. I tell my husband, I was like, you watch golf?
Right.
I watch unscripted.
Yes.
Okay.
And it brings me, I don't know, it just settles me down.
When you get to talk, and I guess the blackness in us, the call and response. Like,
because I would have said,
I would have, I would have, should have, if that was me, no. Like, you're talking to
while
the
I'm
TV.
taking my makeup off, you're like, girl, I would have, I swear to God, let me be at that dinner.
Exactly.
Okay, I brought this on myself here. I brought it on myself.
You sure did, but you made a connection because I would have never thought she would say love.
Well, before we end up, and this has been just tremendous, and I want to thank you. But before we end up, I'd like to give Shantae I want to recap the strategies because we hit on some good stuff.
Yes.
The saying no and the find some therapy somewhere. And your points, your many points, but
be okay with disappointing people. You know, practice that disappointment and do the work of feeling good about yourself.
And that was the one that really stood out to me is you're not just going to automatically feel happy once you say no. You got to keep working, but you know,
and there will, as I've discovered, there will be backlash to your no, you know?
This is so detrimental. He's telling young girls in particular to practice disappointing people, men in particular. They're not talking about the gynocracy. I promise you. If you read the fine print at the bottom, the gynocracy is excluded from all of this. This is towards men. It's that simple.
You gonna do what the gynocracy say when it say how it say it. Daggone right. Again, why does this not serve the younger generation? There's not enough or no context at all. Yes, ladies, there is power in saying no. We're not saying that. Say no when it comes to hunting. We say this often. You got to give context, but you don't want to say no to things that are going to be trying. Again, I must accredit so many of my ways to athletics because it was beat into me to not run away from a challenge. And that has served me greatly as an old project crack baby. Not running away from accountability. But these sisters here and the brother, asterisk, all right, they up here, they ain't trying to hear nothing about accountability. It's everybody else's fault, and they gonna do what makes them feel good. Shout out to Halle Berry Monsters Ball.
But like you said,
and the guilt that comes with because you've been saying yes, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing?
But both of you all said, but after you learn to say no, you realize the world keeps turning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So once you start to feel comfortable saying no, things are gonna reconfigure. And then finally, and this is just on my mental list of the things that I thought were really good outside of getting your men to go ahead and get in therapy, was the I liked the rejiggering your neurons in your brain.
You got to practice different messages to yourself
Yeah.
because we have been raised with a different set of messages, and that gets imprinted in you in some real ways, just like trauma and pain. All of that is in our systems, right? And it becomes a loop, a negative loop that we can't get out of. And I think for me, I'm trying to recognize that what keeps me from my own peace sometimes is me.
Yes. Most of us.
Most of us. It's me practicing old messages. And so knowing that I have to affirmatively work at telling myself different things it's a real practice.
Yes.
At 61 years old, to reshape the way that I operate in the world has to be mindful, intentional, and done frequently.
Yeah, it takes work. It just doesn't go, oh, I did it today.
That's right.
I'm the
That's
master. No. Some days are easier than others.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Taraji, thank you.
Thank you
so much. You are amazing.
So here we are. We heard enough, people. That was a lot of babbling. And somebody said earlier about Leon's layer. I think that's a good idea.
Yes, Leon, get ready, brother. You overkicked your coverage on this one now. You know, we're gonna send all. You know what? No, we send all of them. Yeah, open wide, Ninja.
That part.
This right here will get me some pee tonight. But I don't want it. Not for this. Not with this. That. I don't want no with this. This right here is paper. You want to? That's my rent. Hold on.
Yeah, Ninja. Yeah, I was about to say tear it up in little pieces. Yeah, set it on fire.
This right here.
Do it.
This right here.
Do it.
This right here